Hi. Okay, so we are in Tweak Week. I know I've been calling it Twerk Week, but it's Tweak Week. And what we're doing this week is we're talking about things you should do, things you shouldn't do, and how to fix the things you might have done. I want you guys to kind of think of this as a how to learn from Bonnie and Elena's mistakes. Okay? Throughout the course, we've been talking about things we've done wrong and things we've done right. And one of the things I've done wrong is not having a backup credit card or other form of payment. This is a big one. So at the end of February, I was just starting to get a really nice roll going with my income. I mean, I was starting to make $200, $250 a day based on my ads, and they were doing great. And then suddenly, I had my only credit card that I have. I had that get frauded. Thank you, scammers, for ruining my life. So I was like, okay, it's cool. The card had to be stopped. I wasn't supposed to pay for a few days because you know how it has set days. I wasn't supposed to pay for a few days, and so I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get my replacement in 2 to 5 business days, right? We could do this. No, honey. They told me I wasn't going to get my replacement in 9 to 10 business days. So I waited patiently. I didn't have another credit card because I don't do credit cards. I had the one credit card so that I would have backup in case suddenly my ad spend went over, right? Not so good. So my income, which was going like this, leveled off and then started to do this because they cut off my ads. And I didn't have a backup. And then when it got started again, I was second guessing myself. I didn't know what to do. I was nervous and I was terrified and I didn't know what was going on, and honestly, I felt really discouraged. So that is my first tip is one, to make sure that your credit card info and you have a backup payment plan so that the momentum you get going with your ads isn't stepped back by 20 steps, right? You move forward 1 step, go back 2. I went back 20. Okay, another one I want you to focus on is budgeting. Budgeting is huge. We talked about budgeting last week, but I want you to really take this into consideration. Can you afford that $10 ad a day on Daily Budget? Can you tweak it? Absolutely. But what I want you to think about is, what if the AMS ads explode, which they've been doing lately? Even with short bids, they've been exploding. Can you afford to have 10 ads a day, set at $5 a piece, each of them explode? That would be $50 a day. That's $1,500 a month. Okay, can you afford that? Because, honey, I guarantee it, Amazon will take your money 3 times that month, because they charge about every $500. So can you afford that? If you cannot afford that, it is okay to have ads that are only going at $2 a day, $3 a day. I have them at $1 a day to test. That's okay. Make sure you are comfortable with your budgeting at the beginning, so that you can be moving it upwards as your income grows. Your ads will still work for you, even if it's only a couple dollars. Another thing to think about for the budgeting, and this is a really important one, is that the budgeting and how much you have in your budget and how much you have budgeted for your daily spend, that does not determine how much you're shown. Your clicks and your bids determine how much you're shown. Does that make sense? Let me cover that for you. Impressions are based on your bids. And once you hit your daily spend, Amazon doesn't show it anymore. But until it gets to that budget, until it gets to that cutoff point, it's not going to keep going. It will just keep going, blah, 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 lots of impressions, lots of wherever it can until it hits the click point, and then it stops. Does that make sense? Once it hits to the click point, it stops. Whether that takes 2,000 impressions or 50,000 impressions, Amazon will show your book, your ad, until it hits the budget click, okay? Or the budget spend. So that until you hit that point, you're going to get shown, okay? So you need to really think about that before you set your budget. For instance, I had a $50 budget. This is how I learned this. I had a $50 daily budget on an ad, and then I went in and I tweaked the keywords, and I was doing the spend on them, and I used Prestazon, which, as some of you know, Prestazon has been doing really high bids on stuff just because it thinks, oh, we have to get the impressions. Not so good when suddenly I have to message Elena and I'm like, I just had a $92 ad spend day and I only made $80. How is that possible? And she said, hurry up, go check your daily budgets. And I did. And out of 30 ads running a day, when I had to check that, it was kind of like, oh my goodness, it did a full daily spend on that ad, $50. So yeah, we put that down to $5. It was supposed to be $5. So That's what I want you to do. I want you to look at your budgeting and to monitor it and make sure that you're not trying to control your impressions and how much you're seeing with your budget. You're trying to control it with your clicks and bids. Now you can control how much you spend based on your budget. So absolutely get that into your head. Then what we have is our next big one that Elena and I both learned from. We don't want you to freak out about something and turn your ads off. First of all, terminating is bad. Pausing is good. So let's say that you're like, okay, this is getting a little out of hand. We've shown you in our tweaking video how you can change the cost of a campaign, how much you're going to spend that day, or also how to go in and change your keywords and how to control that. If you're still kind of like, oh my goodness, this is getting out of hand, you can use the things that Elena taught you in week 2 on how to adjust for your budget. Just pause the ad. Don't freak out. It's okay. Just pause your ad and go from there. Do not kill your ad. Okay? Next, what I want you to do is not pay super close attention to your ACOS. The ACOS isn't completely accurate. I mean, what of Amazon stuff is accurate, right? The ACOS isn't accurate. It's a good little byline to see how many sales you might have had. So because it's not accurate, it's not something you want to rely on. And that's totally fine. But it is sometimes good just to kind of peek at and say, oh, is it doing anything? So don't rely on your ACOS. That is the biggest thing we want you to get out of the whole ACOS section. Next, and I think this one is really important, especially this one, is we don't want you to listen to other people. Here's an example. You don't want to listen to other people. Well, yeah, listen to me and Elena because you paid us to take our course and we know what we're talking about. But even some of the things that we say aren't going to necessarily apply to you. Some of the things like our conversion rates, some things that we suggest are strictly for KU, and some things we suggest are strictly for wide. If you don't want to do the specific things that we say, again, it's your business. You need to do what your gut says. But if you and let's say you're a thriller writer and you're talking to someone who's cozy mystery and you're like, oh, this is what I do with my Amazon ads and this is what I do and this is what they do with their Amazon ads, you're going to find that nothing is the same. And it really can't be the same because they're different books, different brands, different markets, different demographics. You cannot replicate that in between the two. The steps we've given you throughout this workshop, you can replicate them. So you can absolutely replicate the things that we're giving you. But we are teaching you how to read the data so that you can make those decisions for yourself on which way you want to go. That is the most important thing we want you to get out of this workshop. How to read the data, how to tweak for yourself. Because as you come to us and you're like, hey, I don't know what this means, or hey, what does this mean? Honestly, we might not know because it can be a whole number of variables. Your ad copy, your keywords. We can't go through 1,000 of your keywords. We can't tell you exactly what bid's going to work for each of them. That's why we're teaching you the data so that you can read the data and you can make those discerning things for yourself. That's what's the most important thing, is that you are taking these tips that we're giving you and you are using them and you're replicating them using your own data. Does that make sense? That's what we really want you to get out of this whole workshop. How to read your data, how to make tweaks and stuff according to your data. Because a lot of people out there are telling you how to set up an AMS ad. Honey, we know how to set up an AMS ad. It's that we don't know how to get them to spend, or if they're spending it the right way, or how to get them to work. That's what we want you to focus on. So as you're going through the next 2 weeks, we only have 2 weeks left. As you're going through the next 2 weeks, we really want you to keep focusing on those, focusing on reading your data. Read your data. And trust me, you are smart. You create worlds, you build up people, you kill people, you create love stories and plots and twists. These little math problems are not hard. And I know you can do this because I'm seeing amazing numbers already. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to think about the things that we've done. Trust me, we've done some things. I might even put some more examples in there that we wish we hadn't done. And you've been seeing the things that we do that we have loved that we've done. So watch and learn, pick up what you want, and leave behind what you don't want. This is your business, not ours. So do what you need to do. Okay. I think I've covered everything on what I wouldn't do again as of right now. I'm still regretting that stupid credit card mistake. I think that was 5 months ago, and I'm still like, I wish that hadn't happened. I had a really good friend, though. Shout out to Jill Cooper, who was like, if it happens again, call me and I'll give you my credit card number. I love her. I love her. All right, guys, keep it real, and you're doing great. I'm serious, you are doing amazing. So keep going.